courage and the boldness that you gain after speaking affirmations over yourself. The more you hear it, the more you believe that it's true.
And welcome to Premier Fitness. I'm Gene Williams, your yoga instructor, and I'm here to tell you about the benefits of yoga.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining our show. Welcome to Where is the Love? I am your host. I am Stephanie Hawkenhall, and joining me is my co-host, my son, Gene Williams. Come on in, son.
Hey, everybody. How you doing today? How are you, Ma?
Good. How are you, son?
Excellent. Ready to
Hey,
rock.
say what?
Said ready to rock.
All right. We have a great show for you today. We have been talking to you about the narcissistic bully, and we are here today to add more, to give you more information and to provide information on creating boundaries. We have got to create boundaries with these bullies. We can't have this. Right, son?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's with everybody.
Yes. So we have the information to give to you and to share with you to help you understand how to create boundaries, what the heck are boundaries, why are boundaries even necessary, to create healthy boundaries. We're bringing it to you. We're bringing it to you. So we are going to recap. We always recap at the beginning of our show. We recap what happened on last week's show.
Oh, yeah.
So we are going to recap right now. Son, you want to go over the recap with them?
Oh, yeah. So, again, we went over like ways of pinpointing or recognizing if you're dealing with a person with narcissistic personality disorder. So, some of the signs are they lack boundaries. They expect attention and validation without the ability or desire to return or reciprocate those feelings. They're driven by hidden fears or fears of secretly being inferior. They are unable to truly be vulnerable or view vulnerability in others as a weakness. They can be quite charming and persuasive. Yep, I think that's it.
All right. So, y'all, I can't even imagine somebody that has everybody so scared. I can't even imagine them being scared. Can you, son? A
Oh,
narcissistic bully, they got everybody scared. But can you imagine them being scared?
yeah, they're terrified. They're shaking in their own boots from their own shadow.
Ain't that crazy, y'all? So I'm going to ask everybody that's here on the show, I am going to ask you to share your screen, um, so that we can get more people here, on the show. So if you are here, please click on share so that I keep saying share your screen every time I get on here, but share your page. Click on share, please. Let's share so we can share this information
I
with
want to say
other
this
people.
real quick. There's a meme that I saw on Instagram. I believe there was a little girl walking out on the concrete with the sun shining on her, and she saw the sun shining in her shadows behind her, and she's like that's a narcissist. They're doing
Yeah.
all this wolfing, but they're afraid of their own shadow.
Yeah, that's pitiful, ain't it? It's still it. Thank you, Beverly, for sharing your screen and your page. Dang, I just keep saying screen. Thank you for sharing your page. I shared my page. Gina's sharing his page. Um, Again, I can't even imagine somebody that's got everybody else so scared. I can't imagine them being scared, but they are. So we are going to talk about on today's show. We will talk about. So this is a question I'm going to pose to everybody, and I'm gonna give you a few seconds to think about this question. Why do we fall into the traps of bullies? and feel we cannot escape. Think about that. I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about it. Why do we fall into the traps of bullies and feel we cannot escape? All right, I hope you have thought about that question. So the next question is, who or what am I really mad at? Who or what am I really mad at? When someone bullies us repeatedly, we become angry. It is easy to misplace anger or blame when we act out of our emotions or our fears. Are you really mad at them, or are you really mad at you for getting out of character or off your center? Who are you really mad at? Don't get so mad that you lose focus. You got to stay focused, keep focused, but get mad enough and motivated enough to prove that your comeback means more than a clapback. All right? So getting mad and getting even is not worth forfeiting your future. It's not worth it. So ask yourself, as you look at your life, as you look at life, who or what am I really mad at when it comes to a bully, dealing with a bully? Is the way they treat me worth retaliating towards them? Think about it. The opposite of that is real love, treating others the way you want to be treated. So you can retaliate to the bully, or you can treat them the way you want to be treated. So it's up to you. So, son, you want to comment?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, most of the time the person's mad at themselves just for allowing the treatment that they're experiencing, and then knowing, I guess maybe that somewhere in the back of their mind they feel like they deserve that.
Yeah.
You know, so
And
that
that's that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that realization that that you've somewhere deep down you feel like you deserve this type of treatment
Yep.
is the most disturbing thing. I know for me personally, my therapist asked me, Gino, you are a glutton for punishment. I was like, dang, I guess I am.
Yeah. So guilt and shame will and can really uh, make you feel minute, so little when somebody is bullying you. So you have to make up your mind again. Do I want to get them back? What good is that gonna do? Right now, I gotta share a story with y'all. This is something that happened to me not too long ago. I had a coworker who is supposed to bring me my material to work with. He wasn't bringing me my material, and he did this for months. And so other people in the company would help me and bring stuff to me. Um, and he decided he wasn't going to do his job. He's standing around on his phone and talking and doing all of this. And the whole time the boss is watching him and not saying anything. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? How come he's not saying something to him? So this is what happened. He went to the boss one day. He had to work beside me, not in the same area, but close to the same area. The parts that I make, I work in manufacturing, and the parts that I make, I have to build them and then give them to him in the area that he was working in for that day. That's not his regular position. His regular position is to bring me my items, bring me my tools, bring me my things to work with. So he was upset because he had to work in the area next to me. So he came over and proceeded to help me with some of my work because I worked 4 stations and he was just working one. So he decided to come over and make me look bad. Okay. He came over to make me look bad. He started doing some of my work. And I came over to him and said, I was getting ready to do that. And he said, no, I got you. So I'm thinking, okay, he's being nice. So he gets done with that work and then walks over to the boss who was working close to us that day, sitting close to us that day, watching what was going on. He went over to him and told him that I was not moving fast enough, that I'm too slow and that I need some help. So the boss came to me shortly afterwards and told me, he said, "You're moving too slow, um, and you need some help." And he said, because we're always joking with each other, me and the boss, and he said, "And I know you need help." And then I caught on to what he was saying. He was saying, "I need help because I'm crazy, because I'm always laughing at work." So he said, "I know you need help, but," and then he said, "But ignore him, show him that you are, that you can work differently." And I'm thinking, I got to prove to this clown, 'cause that's what he was doing. I got to prove to this clown that I can work fast and get this work done. And I'm like, you know what? So what happened is he ended up adding more work to me that day. Instead of bringing me some of the stuff that I needed from his area to make me move faster, he was slowing me down. That irritated the crap out of me. You see, we're here talking about bullies. I can let it go for so long. Now, for months, you treated me like trash, and I didn't say nothing. Now you're gonna come act like you really trying to help me, and then after the boss, get away from that area, then you start doing stuff to slow me down. So I just kept praying throughout the day, like I had been doing for months. And at the end of the day, I told my lead and I told my boss, "Listen, don't put him back over there by me anymore." And I said, because he created more work for me, and I got a lot of work to do. And I said, so don't put him back over there. And the boss had already said earlier, he's mad because he got an attitude because he got to work. Well, that wasn't my fault, but I had had enough of him that day. So when I told the boss, don't put him back over here by me, I also added, I am an author and I've written 2 books about bullying, and that's what he's doing. I don't like it. Don't put him back over here if y'all want me to continue to work here. So he said, well, the boss said, well, he's gotten in trouble about his attitude a number of times. Go to human resource and tell them because they need the document. So me, I walked my happy behind the human resource and told her what transpired. And she said, why is he being mean to you? I can't even imagine somebody being mean to you. And what? You're an author. Are you going to tell me you're somebody famous and I didn't know anything about it?
Secret
So
shopper.
I told her I am on my way. What did you say, Gene?
Said secret shopper.
So this is what happened. The end result, a few weeks later, he was in a position where he had to stay at a machine. He is no longer in the position that he was in. They hired somebody else to be in the position that he was in. So now he has to stay in one spot. Treat people the way you want to be treated. See, he pushed me to the limit. You've been messing with me for months, and I've been praying and staying away from you and trying to avoid you. But that did it that day. So don't you got to speak up when something is happening. If you're not speaking up, you better be praying so that you can act right, because that's what I was doing, praying so that I could respond in the right way and not treat him the way he was treating me, but treat him the way I want to be treated. I wanted to share that story because it's important. People, we just mentioned shame and guilt, and, I didn't feel any of those things, but I felt anger and felt like I wanted to retaliate. So I had to get my mind right every time I started feeling that, so that I didn't retaliate to him, but so that I could treat him the way I wanted to be treated. So now he'll speak to me if we're face to face, but he don't come nowhere near me. And so it took a couple weeks for that to happen, for him to end up in another position where he couldn't move around, but he has to stay at one station. So I bet that because he got in trouble a number of times about his attitude, I bet you he got a last warning because they just did that to somebody else a few weeks prior to that. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Oh, all right, Gene. So I've been talking too much. You go ahead on and do the next part, please.
All right. So it's funny that this next portion says the seeds you plant is the harvest you reap. But if you've seen the show before, you hear us say often that the universal law is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, or the Bible says that which you sow, therefore you also shall reap. So same concept here. All right, the harvest you see and seek are the direct result of the seeds you sow or allow to be sown into you. You want to have peace, begin to sow seeds of peace.
Yep.
You want love without a limit, sow seeds of unconditional love to others and to yourself. Is the harvest you're expecting lining up with the seeds you and those around you are sowing? We all desire greater abundance and growth in multiple areas of our lives. If you desire to change your situation and circumstance to produce a more bountiful harvest, then it's time to start sowing some new seeds or time to start doing new work.
Right.
Type of work.
Right.
It is ludicrous and insane to believe that one can do the exact same thing yet yield different results. If you want to see something different, you got to do something different. It's like the saying, the Chinese saying is if you do something over and over again, expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So you got to treat people the way you want to be treated. You got to plant what you want. I mean, you want good seed, you got to plant good seed. You want happy seed, you got to plant happy seed. This dude is miserable right now. And he was making me miserable all them months. But I had to get myself together every morning before I went to work spiritually so that I can go and deal with his mess. So I'm spending time every morning in prayer and in the word, talking to God and getting armored up because I didn't know what was going to be, you know, ready for me that day. And I had to do that for months. But it worked out on my behalf. Um, so the next thing is, you want to add something, Gene?
No, listen to you.
Okay. So the next thing is, can you handle the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Can you handle the truth? Unfortunately, most of us cannot handle the truth about our weaknesses. I just shared with you about my weakness. So we only deal with or operate within our areas of strength or our comfort zone. The truth is, all of us have areas of weakness that we attempt to hide from others and mask from ourselves. We can thrive in the truth. Thrive is to grow or develop well. We can only grow and develop well when we go through the processes of things that try to tear us down and beat us up. Whether it be a bully, um, or somebody bullying us or somebody mistreating us, because all mistreatment is not bullying. But bullying is something that happens repeatedly over and over. You're doing mean stuff to me over and over again. You're saying mean stuff to me and about me, trying to get people to believe what you believe about me. And you're doing it over and over again. That's bullying, manipulating, coercing somebody to believe the way you believe. So be honest about your weakness. I had to be honest every morning. Lord, this is hard because I want to go do some mean stuff to him, but I know that ain't the answer. That ain't how I'm supposed to do things. So I need your help to go deal with this person at work. And he kept giving me the strength. So I had to admit first that I was weak. I had to admit that I can't handle this. I ain't strong enough for this. But every day he kept giving me the strength to handle it. And then in the end, he showed me, look, he kept telling me, I got you. I got this. I had to trust that until it happened.
Yeah.
So, Gene, the next You want to add something to that?
Yeah. I was gonna say actually, situations that are difficult are opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
It's just like, for instance, you're in a situation. I'm a personal trainer, so it's like life is like you go into the gym and consciously working and breaking down a muscle group to build it up to be stronger. You have to have the constant stress in order to break down the muscle that was to build it up to be stronger, denser, and capable of lifting more for a longer duration of time. So,
Yeah.
stress is natural. It's all about how you react to it. There's one of my favorite sayings by Ram Dass goes, um, "It's not. It is not our concern about the karma of others. It's about our karma is how we react to the
Yeah.
actions of others."
Yeah.
So, it's all about our reaction to things. Things in life are going to be stressful. It's if you focus and you use it in the proper way, you can grow from every situation that transpires.
Yeah. It is very important to grow from things that happen to us. Um, a friend of mine gave me something, and we've mentioned it on another show before. Um, Gave me something before a video that says we grow through what we go through. So we have to grow through the bad things because these bad things are gonna happen. Disappointments are gonna come. It's just gonna happen. So it's about how we deal with it, and also, are we growing through those things? What can we learn from the thing that's bothering us and that's getting to us so much? That's a question that I've asked for years, and I ask it when I'm going through something. Lord, what can I learn from this? Because I know there's always something for me to learn from it. And it's not about it bringing me down. It's about, what do I need to learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I grow through this and grow from this and become a better person? So, you want to add something, Gene?
Yeah, I was going to say it's like, if we think of everything that transpires in our life as an opportunity to learn, or life as a school type of situation, then you might change your perspective. Like, yes, this is difficult. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but this is something that is growing me. Something
Yes,
that's making me a more well-rounded, well-versed person that can deal with a multiplicity of things, as opposed to, again, like we said before, staying in a comfort zone or a bubble in which you only deal with certain things that you know. I mean, there's the thing, growing pains as
yes,
a child grows from one age, and then they start to grow. You have pains in your bones and your muscles and your joints, your ligaments, because you're growing. You're going from a smaller version to a bigger version, more self-aware, more self-conscious, and so that's part of the process. You got to go through the pains in order to become stronger. So it's about flipping your perspective and realizing that this is an opportunity for growth.
yeah, yeah. And while you're growing, you got to find stuff to give you encouragement and to inspire you to go through whatever that thing is. Because you can't just, in and of yourself, you cannot just take on whatever is going on, whatever is making you weak. You can't take it on by yourself. So, for example, even if you ask somebody to pray for you or pray with you about the situation, you got to find things that lift you up and encourage you and inspire you to make it through that time of week. And that's how you get through those things. You want to add something?
Nope, no, you're on point actually.
All right. So, the truth, when you learn more, more is required and expected of you. Chances are you are here because you desire better.
Mhm.
When you learn the truth about something, you are held accountable for that truth. So, us teaching you and sharing with you about boundaries, you're going to be held accountable for this. You can't say, I didn't know, because you're given the information. We get ready to give you the information. So, you will now be responsible for carrying out that truth of creating boundaries, setting boundaries, creating boundaries, and making them stick. So you probably didn't realize that you were signing up to be held to a higher standard.
Mhm.
You are here now. No turning back. Here we go. We're proud of
Too
you.
late to turn back now.
I'm
We gonna
falling
fall
in
in
love.
love.
Y'all know we gotta act silly. So we're proud of you for making the courageous decision to not just learn more, but to be responsible for more. We love you and we love to see it happen in you. It took us a long time to understand uh, how to create boundaries. We ain't fully there. We still setting boundaries and we still learning how to stick to them no matter what. Even the narcissistic bully, which to me seems to be the strongest type of bully there is. So um, anyway, how can you protect yourself from bullies, specifically narcissistic bullies? You protect yourself by creating boundaries. So, Jean, go ahead and tell them what it means to create boundaries.
All right. So first, I'm going to tell you what boundaries are. So personal boundaries are guidelines, rules, or limits that a person creates to identify reasonable, safe, and permissible ways for others to behave towards them and how they will respond when someone passes those limits. Um, how do I stop a narcissist when the narcissist begins to overstep their boundaries again? So this is extremely important. And this is with anybody, but especially a narcissist. You have to stand your ground. You have to stand very firm on your boundaries. You cannot step back an inch because if you, like the saying goes, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Yep.
You have to be very firm and don't budge from the stand. Stand 10 toes down. 10 toes
And
down, Johnny.
right, and stay there.
Yeah, exactly. And dig the toes into the concrete. So you don't get budged. Because they again they will figure it out. They'll be either super nice or be super mean and have you, okay, well, what about this one? What
Yep.
about that one? What about this one here? And then next thing you know, you become a version of yourself that's not you, and no
Right.
one is being truly benefited. So you got to stand on your boundaries, stand firm, speak up, put them in check every time.
Right.
And you don't have to get irate. That's the cool thing. Like something that I've learned dealing with the particular narcissist that I know of well, is the the lack of emotion. Like they expect you to or and you come at them like even kill. Oh, it messes them up every time.
Yeah.
It's actually quite funny. Like, oh, so you mad because you couldn't get me to budge? Now you over there throwing a temper tantrum.
Yep.
Interesting. So yeah.
Listen, y'all. So when it comes to the boundaries, there's no negotiating. You set your boundaries on what works for you. And even though they twist and turn and y'all saw that Gene was doing, even though they tried to negotiate and make you, well, what about this? Well, what about that? No, I said this, and that's what I mean. Stick to it.
Yep.
And like I said, we ain't all the way there because we still have to, it's a constant work.
Yes.
It's a constant process. So we're gonna get to some stuff in a minute that's gonna help you out even more with this. But Gene, go ahead with the next one because I've been doing a lot of talking.
All right. What is the difference between boundaries and being controlling? The difference between control and boundaries is that control is going to make others be what you want them to be, but boundaries make it safe for us to be ourselves. An aggressive person will not respect boundaries. Um, yeah. So I mean, and I agree with that. Um, you have absolute control over how people treat you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be a controller in that way. No, you can't treat me like that. I don't like that. Don't touch me like that. I don't like that. Yeah, it's important though. I mean, like I said, you absolutely have control over how people interact with you and how they deal with you. As long as you're not trying to control the other person, you're good. But I absolutely have control. You're supposed to own having control over how people interact with you.
Yep. So, how do you set boundaries with someone? Hey, Beverly, how do you set boundaries with someone who is controlling? Express your boundaries directly with that person. Make your personal boundaries as clear as you possibly can. Tell the person on no uncertain terms um, what you will and will not put up with in the future. You got to tell them. You got to go there.
Yep.
You ain't got to be mean. You ain't got to be nasty. You ain't got to cut nobody out. Hey, this is how the cow ate the cabbage. This is it. That's it. That's all. So if you want to be with me, be around me, and I'm not talking about
Just
just
one
an
man.
intimate relationship. I'm talking about any relationship, family, friend, co-worker, anybody. Somebody you're intimate with. Create your boundaries. This is it. This is the way it is. See, and you have to, when it comes to setting boundaries, you have to, when something happens, we'll get to that part. I'm a little ahead. But when something happens that ain't cool with you, that's when you know I gotta set a boundary with them because they running out. They doing stuff they ain't, I don't like that. I'm not putting up with it. So controlling people are difficult by nature. They will do everything they can to ignore or misinterpret your boundaries because they don't like your boundaries. I don't want to do what you want me to do. I want to treat you how I want to treat you, and I just want you to take it. The devil is a lie. That ain't how I roll, how it works.
Right.
This is how it's gonna work. This is what I'm saying. This is how we doing it. And if you don't want to do it that way, then we ain't doing it at all. Goodbye. So we coming to a part in a minute, like I said, that's gonna help you even more with that. So Gene, go ahead with the next part.
Well, I was going to say also with that one, conversely, like not only do we set the boundaries with how we want to be treated, but we also set the boundaries by mirroring how we want to be treated by how we treat others.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't ask for a person to treat you a certain way and you do the opposite of that.
Yep.
So, we have to be balanced and equal with the way that we approach our boundaries. We can't ask for something you're not willing to give. Because
Right.
again, that goes into narcissistic personality disorder. You're
Yep.
demanding something, but you don't want to return it. So
Right.
we got to make sure we have that balance. That's very
Yeah. Thank you, because that really needed to be said. I'm glad you brought that about because it's not just about us creating boundaries, but it's about us accepting other people's boundaries and still at the same time treating them with respect, the respect that we want them to give us, and then treating them the way we want them to treat us.
right. Exactly. And that's what makes a strong, authentic relationship where you're both honoring the other's boundaries, their
Hmm.
perspectives, and all relationships are about compromise of some
Yeah.
sort. But when you're in a situation where you're dealing with a narcissist who just wants to, run roughshod, like a bull in a china factory over your boundaries, then you got to, hey,
Right.
titanium wall, boom, boom. Not today, not today.
Go to you do the next part, please.
All right. Okay. All right. So, how do you begin setting boundaries? It starts with self awareness. If you do not like the way you feel or act, know that you have the power of choice to change it. You have the choice to control your actions and reactions. Excuse me. Embrace the uneasiness of being uncomfortable at first. Again, we said before that uncomfortableness is a indicator a flag, that light that comes off, letting you know, hey, this is an area of weakness, so let's work on this.
Right.
Or run away, your choice.
Yep.
Fight or flight, and anyway.
Yep.
Um, it all starts by saying no to what does not serve you, and by standing your ground with no guilt or shame. No is not an action to be undertaken only at certain times. It is a lifelong habit that we need to diligently practice in order to achieve our goals in work and in life.
Right. Right. So when it comes to setting healthy boundaries, what will be the first step you take to carve your path to fulfillment, happiness, and peace of mind? This is the part that I was talking about that we were going to come to. When it comes to to creating boundaries with somebody and they've done something or said something that you don't like, then you realize, all right, I got to create some boundaries with this person so they don't just run over me, because that ain't the way this is going to work. Beverly, we're glad this is a blessing to you. Thank you. Because it's a blessing to us too. Just knowing this information and being able to share this information. Because we don't like being bullied, and we don't like to see people being bullied. So this is the path to fulfillment, happiness, and peace of mind. Invest or divest. When you have somebody in your life that's treating you crazy and you don't like it, you got to think about, do I want this person in my life? But more importantly than that, to invest means you devote effort, expecting a worthwhile result. Um, Thank you, Beverly. To divest is to rid oneself of someone that no longer benefits you or where you're going in life. So this is it. When somebody is bullying you or when somebody's being mean to you, then you have to decide, is this person a benefit to me, or are they
A detriment.
a detriment? Are they no longer benefiting me? Maybe our relationship was tight, our relationship was good, but now it ain't no more because they starting to do some things and say some things that ain't cool. So now I got to decide in my mind, I have to decide, do I keep them in my life or do I let them go? You probably had to deal with relational forks in the road. So this is a fork in the road. Imagine this being a fork in the road. This person is acting crazy. They've been treating me like crap. Are they benefiting my life, or are they tearing my life apart? Are they no longer benefiting me? Beverly said, let them go. He gonna say to the left, Beverly. So these metaphorically are places where a decision needs to be made. You're at the fork in a road, and so a decision needs to be made about your relational priorities with that person. Who needs to go with? Do they go with me, or are they going with me, or are they going away from me? If they ain't going with you, let them go. Beverly, you said it right. Let them go. It's your choice.
Live.
But first, before just giving up on them, create some boundaries. Don't just give up on people. Create some boundaries. If they still don't want to act right, then you creating boundaries and letting them know what your boundaries are, and them still doing what they want to do, then you got to make a choice. Either I invest or I divest. Either you got to go or you can stay. So that's how you decide. Either the relationship is pushing you into drive or pulling you back into reverse. Take an inventory of the relationship and then proceed. So that is how you decide whether a person is good for you or no. Don't give up on them just because they make a mistake 1 or 2 times. You have to decide, I got to make some boundaries with this person to see whether they're going to stay or whether they're going to go. I'm at this fork in the road. I got to make a decision. All right, I created the boundaries and they still on one, so they got to go. Let them go. All right, I hope that helped. Gene, you want to add anything?
Yeah. I was gonna say, so like I like to liken our personal relationship paradigm onto like a Fortune 500 company or a sports team. Um, say for instance, you have a sports team, or like I said, a Fortune 500 company. You have a person who, again, like you said, at one point or another was a great investment for you. You put a lot of energy and time into them, but then they began to show, that they're not as committed as you need them to be in certain things.
Right.
So again, you set boundaries. It's the you give them warnings. Same things like warning sign. This is not gonna work here.
Yeah.
So, and after they do it a certain amount of times, then you go back and you take again inventory of where your vision is of your Fortune 500 company, which is your personal relationship paradigm or your sports team. And if they're no longer a good investment for you, then you put them on the market elsewhere. and then you look for other players who are better fitted for where you're going in the future because
There
they
you
have the
go.
vision that you have, and are willing to respect the boundaries and the paradigm that you have set up or set in place. So
I love that analogy. That's a great analogy, and a great way to look at it.
got
So,
them.
so thanks for that analogy. Um, and I was just saying, great, responding to Beverly saying, yeah, it helped. So why do I lack boundaries? Let me answer the question for you. People lack boundaries because they have a high level of neediness or codependence. Some people can't live without other people. So people who are needy or codependent have a desperate need for love and affection from others. To receive this love and affection, they sacrifice their identity and remove their boundaries.
Right.
So if you are having a hard time creating boundaries or a hard time setting boundaries with somebody, look at yourself. Am I needy? Do I have to have somebody? Do I have to have that person? Because ultimately, that's causing you harm. It's not helping you at all. You got to learn how not to be codependent on people and needy of people because people will take advantage of you. That's the world we live in. They will take advantage of you. You want to add something, Gene?
Yeah, I was going to say. So, and that's we talked about this before. How like the narcissist and the person who is the victim of narcissistic bullying um, are in essence the same person, just on different polarities or different flip sides of that coin. The person who's the bully is generally feels inferior, insecure, uncertain of themselves, and the person who's the victim is the same person. It's just about how they react to the situation. The person who's the victim runs away from the situation, and the other is an attacker. So it's
Yeah.
a predator prey type situation. Um, so again, self acceptance, self awareness, self knowledge. Why am I, like you said? Why am I attracting a situation with this bully, this person who's constantly tearing me down?
Right.
Again, going back to what we talked about before, why do I feel like I deserve this?
Yeah.
That's the question you got to ask yourself over and over again. I'm
Yeah.
constantly attracting, constantly magnetizing to myself. This is something I still have to ask myself. Magnetizing situations to myself where I'm constantly being broken down and made to feel minuscule or unimportant.
Yeah.
So it's just something that we have to constantly ask ourselves: is this the best for us? Is this investment in this person beneficial or detrimental to my life, my future, my vision, my living my highest purpose, being my best self? And if it is, then you continue, like you said, just set those boundaries and stand firm with them. If they're not, you got to cut them from the team and save that cap money for LeBron.
Yay, yay. So, why is it so hard to set boundaries? You have good analogies.
Thank you.
So, next question is, why is it so hard to set boundaries? One of the main impediments to boundary setting is guilt. He just gave you a good example of that. People feel guilty setting a line and are afraid of hurting other people's feelings. That's people pleasing. That's something that we were so doing so well at, but we were so miserable doing it.
Yeah.
You got to decide if you want to be a people pleaser or not. I don't like being miserable. I don't like being hurt. It took years to get out of that, and I will not return.
Yeah.
I won't go back. We're also reluctant to set boundaries for fear of being disliked or rejected. This is also known as being a people pleaser, like I just said. So we can't worry about the other person's feelings. What's helping us? What's Are we being broke down? Are we being beat up? Are we being stomped on? Or are we being treated the way we want to be treated?
Yeah.
And in return, in order to get people to treat you the way you want to be treated, you have to treat them the way you want to be treated. You get back what you give. We talked about the harvest, and planting the seed. Whatever you want, that's what you give. If you ain't getting it from that person, then you got to decide, do I let them go? Do I invest in this person? Do I divest? Do I create boundaries? Let me give them a chance. I'm going to create these boundaries. And if they ain't acting right, they still want to do what they doing, then they got to go. So, go ahead, Gene.
Well, I was going to say, so again, we have a situation here where it shows that the narcissist and the bully and the person who's being bullied are the same person, just different reactions. Because the people pleaser is afraid of being rejected, um, disliked, or they have a fear of abandonment.
Yeah.
The same thing that the narcissist has fear of. They have fear of being disliked, being abandoned, and so we react different ways. That was a point. All of that is fear based.
Yeah.
All of it's fear based, and there was a certain. I was going to say something.
So we all going on both sides. Go ahead. You remember?
So the point is, like, the difference is the victim of bullying, the people pleaser relinquishes their control of the way people interact with them, and the narcissist conversely tries to control every little single minute situation or dealing with other people. So it's like, again, we had to find that middle ground. But again, just to tap back onto it, the narcissist is very afraid, and so is the victim, very afraid of being abandoned. And we have to think about how prevalent that is in all of our relationships. We all have that fear of abandonment. If I do this or say this, no one's gonna like me anymore. And you just have to get to the point where you love yourself enough where you don't care what other people think about you, like deep down. And I mean, you're gonna have those times where you're gonna be like, "Well, what if they?" You just gotta be like, if they do it, if they don't,
Yep. It's all about acceptance, being able to accept what the choices somebody else makes. And then, so you mentioned balance. So there has to be a balance because both of us, the narcissist and the victim, are feeling and experiencing the same thing. So we're gnawing at each other, or the narcissist is gnawing at the victim, and the victim don't know how to receive that. So they're bowing down and hurting and having a hard time with this, but yet they're feeling the same thing. And the narcissist just has power over the victim. Uh,
You see,
and that's hard. So there has to be, and check this out. What just came to mind is that's going on inside of us.
in
What
a
we
war.
see, yeah, that war is going on inside of us. So we really want to say something, we really want to react, we really want to deal with this situation, but we're too scared. We're ashamed. We're feeling guilty. Well, maybe I deserve this. Or ashamed. I can't tell nobody about this because I don't want people to make fun of me and laugh at me or talk about me or make me feel worse. So that war that's going on inside of you, you got to make a decision. You're at the fork in the road. Again, invest or divest. You got to choose. So empower yourself by reading powerful things, listening to powerful speeches, talks, ministries. You got to get that peace somewhere so that you can become strong enough in yourself, bold and courageous enough to speak to that person, just like I did at work. You know, for me, that was a different experience because I didn't cower down to him, but I had to be quiet. I had to close my mouth. Um, and I have to say this. I had to close my mouth so that I didn't react to him like he was treating me. I know that that's not a good example for me to respond to him in the way he was responding to me or treating me. It wasn't good. What example is that going to be for somebody? If you're attacking them back, all y'all going to do is argue and go back and forth. And who's it benefiting? That's not benefiting anybody. So in order to benefit this situation, I had to just be quiet at work. I didn't come home crying. I didn't think about it crying. I thought about it and I would pray about it and ask God to help me. And that's what I had to keep doing in order to be quiet and not react the way I would without God's help. So in order to be a change agent, you got to let people see a different side, you know. Uh, how can I? You got to let somebody see something better than what they're doing. Um, so I had, that was the place that I was in. I can't react to him like he's doing me. So I have to chill out, so to speak. Just be quiet, hush. And what I was going to say a while ago is I had a fortune cookie one time that said, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. That's, an old saying. But this paper said, if you don't have nothing nice to say, KMS, keep mouth shut.
Mhm.
And so that's what I had to do. But it all worked out for my benefit. So I encourage you to just, find ways to empower yourself and encourage yourself so that you can become that strong, bold, courageous person to speak out, but to speak out to be helpful and to benefit the person, no matter how mean they are to you or no matter what mean things they say to you. Gene, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I was actually going to say. So, in essence, what that was saying to you is because I mean, you did speak. You opened your mouth. You didn't snap back as a
Right.
retaliation. It was more of a strategic movement.
Yeah.
You shut your mouth as it pertains to dealing with him personally, and you took the next step and went above his head.
Yep.
you know,
because I knew it wasn't worth saying anything to him. And
Right.
I've been dealing with that for a very long time. He wasn't willing to change.
Right.
I'm willing to change. I'm willing to change to benefit and to be a change agent. And so I can't be a change agent if I'm going to attack people back.
Right.
So I can't react to them like
Right.
they react to me.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so you
Can't
want
be
to,
reactionary. Yeah. Can't. So again, that goes back to the Ram Dass saying, it's not about our karma is not tied. I'm paraphrasing. Our karma is not tied up in the dealing with other people and their things. It's about how we react.
yeah,
And you see, for example, she said that she took the approach of a wise person. She stood back. She stepped back and used her judgment. She stood on her 10. She used her judgment. She spoke. She spoke out to the person directly. It didn't work. She set the boundaries. She gave him times. Okay, listen, this ain't cool. They just stopped doing this. She kept doing it. All
yep,
right, now I said, let's not do this again. Third time. Okay.
yep,
Excuse me, Mister. That's how you do it. You go over their head. You got to
yep,
recognize that at the end of the day, when it comes to your life, you're the one with the power. You're
yep,
the one with the power, not the narcissist. Even though they're scary and they're doing all this, wilding and
yep,
it's the whole. You know what they say: the dog that barked the loudest is the scariest one in the pack.
yep. And so I want to add something to what you just said because actually, what I did to him is I in a conversation before all of that transpired and we just stopped talking at all. What I did is I was talking to him about something, and he was talking about being mean to somebody or doing something mean to somebody, and I said, "You can't do people like that. If you don't like somebody or don't want to be around somebody, then leave them alone. I can't stand people to bully other people." So I said those words to him, although we were talking about something else prior to his ill treatment of me and his continuous ill treatment of me. I said that to him and he didn't get it. So, um, so when it actually came down, I didn't told you. So now I'm gonna have to show you, partner, what I said I meant. So you didn't want to hear it. Although I wasn't talking about me, I was letting you know that I don't like to see people treat people mean. If you don't want to be around them and don't like them, leave them alone. So you doing to me exactly what I said. So now you got to go.
To live, drop.
All right, y'all. We are at the end of our show. We still have information about bullies, about boundaries. How do I know my boundaries? How do I set strong boundaries? How to create healthy boundaries. We still have some more boundaries that we have to share. So, of course, we're going to have to do part 2 here. So, this is the end of our show. We thank you for being here. We thank you for being a part of the show. Remember, be kind and treat others the way you want to be treated. Resources, there's a mental health hotline, 988. If you need mental health information or you have a mental health crisis or you are aware of someone else that has a mental health crisis, dial 988. Um, and that is also the suicide hotline, prevention hotline now. They still have the old 800 number, but that number, the 988, is for mental health or for suicide prevention. So call that number if you need something. I keep
I
saying,
think a little bit of both, Mark. A little bit of both.
so,
Run.
so here's my book. This is another resource, Trouble on the Inside. What's going on? I am authoress Stephanie Lynn. This book is about workplace bullying. I will put the information in the comments section so that if you'd like to purchase this book, I will sign it and ship it to you. This book is $15 plus the shipping and handling for a total of $20. This book is a workbook. bullies, a heart examination is needed. This is a workbook to help you examine yourself. So many people say, I do not bully. When you read this workbook or you read this book, you will find out that even when you talk negative about somebody, that you are being a verbal bully. That's just one. There are so many different types of bullies. Thank you for joining our show. Thanks for being a part of our show. We appreciate you. God bless you. We send you away with love. Gene, go ahead. And
Yeah,
he wants you to let.
I appreciate that, Mark. All right, so as you were probably aware, my band and I, G Wiz and the Solar System, did the theme song for "Where's the Love." Yeah, yeah.
Yay! Whoop, whoop.
So we are we are currently in the studio recording our first studio album called Occult, and it
Whoop,
should be
whoop.
out on November 11th, 2022. So look out for that.
Thank you so much. Again, like he said, the theme song is a song that he wrote and that is playing. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining our show. Peace, love, happiness, and joy. See you on the next show, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time every Sunday. Next week, we'll be covering more about boundaries. Take care. Bye for now. See you later.
Drop.
Where is